Extreme storms, record-breaking floods, devastating tornadoes. Between 2021 and 2024, nature unleashed some of the most powerful and terrifying weather events in recent memory. In this video, we'll take you through 5 of the most shocking storms that struck the world and Europe. If you're fascinated by the raw force of the elements, stay tuned. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Thunderstorm Power, so you never miss the next big storm. Number 1. The South Moravia Tornado, Czech Republic, June 24, 2021. It came without mercy. On the evening of June 24, 2021, the skies above South Moravia darkened. Then chaos descended. A rare, violent tornado tore through peaceful Czech villages with a fury that hadn't been seen in modern European history. The tornado that struck South Moravia, Czech Republic, was one of the strongest ever recorded in Central Europe. Classified as an EF4, it brought wind speeds exceeding 330 kilometers per hour, 205 miles per hour. Enough to shred buildings, uproot trees, and turn vehicles into deadly projectiles. It carved a path of destruction over 26 kilometers long and up to 700 meters wide. Impact. The tornado struck multiple towns and villages, including Rušky, Moravska Nova Ves, Mikulčita, and Lužice. Entire blocks of homes were reduced to rubble in seconds. Roofs were torn off, churches damaged, and infrastructure flattened. Emergency sirens failed to warn many in time, leaving residents seconds to seek shelter. The skies lit up with lightning as the storm ripped power lines from the ground and left tens of thousands without electricity. Casualties and damage. 6 people were killed and over 200 injured, many seriously. More than 1,200 buildings were damaged or destroyed. Initial damage estimates topped $150 million, but full recovery costs far exceeded that. The Czech government deployed the military and emergency services in one of the largest disaster response efforts in the country's modern history. Interesting facts. It was the strongest tornado to hit the Czech Republic in over 100 years, and the deadliest in Europe since 2004. Meteorologists were shocked, as tornadoes of this magnitude are extremely rare in the region. The tornado formed from a supercell thunderstorm during a period of unusually high humidity and instability. The South Moravia tornado was a sobering reminder that Europe is not immune to the kind of violent storms often associated with the United States. As weather patterns become more extreme, the need for early warning systems and climate resilience is more urgent than ever. Number 2. Destructive supercell in Eastern Slovakia, July 19, 2023. In December 2021, one of the most destructive tornado outbreaks in U.S. history struck western Kentucky. A violent, long-track EF4 tornado devastated multiple towns, including Mayfield, Dawson Springs, and Bremen, flattening neighborhoods and leaving a heartbreaking level of destruction in its path. This catastrophic tornado was part of a deadly outbreak across several states, but Kentucky saw the worst of the damage. With winds estimated up to 190 miles per hour, 305 kilometers per hour. It remained on the ground for over 165 miles, 265 kilometers, causing catastrophic loss of life and property. Details of the tornado. Date: December 10th to 11th, 2021. Rating: EF4. Wind speed estimated up to 305 kilometers per hour, 190 miles per hour. Path: Mayfield to Dawson Springs to Bremen and beyond. Path length: approximately 265 kilometers, 165 miles. Width: over 1.6 kilometers, 1 mile. Duration: nearly 3 hours. Fatalities: at least 57 in Kentucky damage. Over $3.5 billion in estimated losses. Eyewitness account: I heard the sirens, but nothing could have prepared us for what came next. Everything went dark, and then the walls just disappeared. We were lucky to survive. Emergency crews, volunteers, and federal agencies worked tirelessly to find survivors and support those affected. The storm left thousands homeless and entire communities changed forever. Interesting facts: this tornado was part of a historic December outbreak, a rare and extreme event for winter months. The tornado's long and violent path may go down as one of the longest-tracked tornadoes in U.S. history. Mayfield's candle factory, heavily hit during the storm, became one of the tragic symbols of the disaster. Number 3. Lightning storm over Dubai, April 16, 2024. In a city known for its sun-scorched deserts and clear skies, the storm that hit Dubai on April 16, 2024 was unlike anything in living memory. As day turned to night, the skyline lit up. Not from neon lights, but from nature's electric fury. That evening, an exceptional thunderstorm system swept across the United Arab Emirates, hitting Dubai with an unprecedented intensity. What made this event so remarkable wasn't just the storm's power. It was the extreme lightning frequency. Over the course of just a few hours, the city witnessed more than 200,000 lightning strikes, an astonishing number for a desert metropolis. The storm brought torrential rains that caused widespread flooding, submerging streets and lower-level highways. Dubai International Airport had to temporarily suspend flights, and many residents were stranded in vehicles or buildings. In some neighborhoods, wind gusts over 100 kilometers per hour toppled billboards and construction scaffolding. The Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building, was struck by lightning multiple times, creating viral images and dramatic videos. Some buildings even reported power surges and equipment failures due to direct or nearby lightning impacts. Though there were no reported deaths, at least 34 people were injured, and damages exceeded tens of millions of dollars, mostly in transportation infrastructure and commercial property. Interesting facts: the storm's charge separation and humidity levels were highly unusual for the UAE, indicating a rare convergence of tropical moisture and desert heat. Local meteorologists called it the most intense lightning event in UAE history. Lightning was captured as far as 100 kilometers away from the storm's core, a phenomenon called anvil lightning. This event shattered assumptions about weather predictability in the Middle East, forcing new conversations about infrastructure resilience in the face of rare but extreme weather. Number 4. Derecho over Europe, August 18, 2022. It began like a regular summer morning in Central Europe. Warm, humid, and calm. But by midday, the skies darkened, winds roared, and within hours, a massive derecho left a path of destruction across 4 countries. August 18, 2022 will be remembered as the day when the storm didn't pass. It charged forward like a freight train. A derecho is a rare but deadly weather phenomenon. A fast-moving, long-lived line of thunderstorms producing destructive straight-line winds. On August 18, 2022, such a system formed over eastern France, rapidly intensifying as it moved across Switzerland, southern Germany, Austria, and northern Slovenia. Winds gusted up to 160 kilometers per hour, 100 miles per hour, uprooting trees, smashing windows, and tearing roofs from buildings. The storm stretched across more than 1,000 kilometers, affecting millions. Casualties and damage. At least 13 people lost their lives, including campers and tourists in the Alps caught by falling trees and debris. Hundreds were injured, some seriously, as falling objects, collapsed tents, and broken glass turned public places into danger zones. Power was cut off to tens of thousands of homes, and rail and road transportation was paralyzed in many areas. In Switzerland, wind gusts blew through lakeside towns, disrupting boat traffic and damaging infrastructure. In Austria, entire forests were flattened in minutes. Aerial images showed large swaths of trees snapped like matchsticks. The Bregenzerwald region was especially hard hit, with several mountain villages isolated for hours. Meteorologists classified the event as a serial derecho, meaning it was part of a broader system of mesoscale convective complexes MCCs that formed one of the most widespread severe weather outbreaks of the year in Europe. Interesting facts. Derechos are rare in Europe, especially ones of this scale. Most similar storms occur in the US Midwest. This event had wind energy comparable to a low-end Category 1 hurricane. Satellite imagery showed the squall line clearly, a massive bow-shaped cloud front slicing across Europe. This derecho challenged European emergency preparedness and prompted new questions about how to anticipate such rapidly evolving large-scale storms. Number 5. Tropical Storm Hilary, California, August 20th, 2023. It had been over 80 years since Southern California saw anything like it. On August 20th, 2023, Tropical Storm Hilary barreled into the West Coast with pounding rain, flash floods, and fierce winds. An event that shattered records and caught millions by surprise. Tropical Storm Hilary made history as the first tropical storm to make landfall in California since 1939. Born in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Mexico, Hilary rapidly intensified into a Category 4 hurricane before weakening to a tropical storm as it approached California. But even in its weakened state, it packed a punch that the arid West Coast was not prepared for. Impact. Southern California was hit with historic rainfall. Los Angeles received more rain in one day than it usually does in an entire summer. The storm triggered flash floods in desert regions like Palm Springs and Death Valley, turning dry washes into raging rivers. Mudslides and debris flows buried roads and stranded communities, especially in the San Bernardino Mountains. Winds downed trees and power lines, leaving over 50,000 homes without electricity. Flights were canceled, highways were shut down, and emergency services were overwhelmed. Although the storm weakened before landfall, its tropical moisture plume reached deep into the western U.S., bringing rain as far as Idaho and Montana, a rare phenomenon for this region. Casualties and damage. At least one fatality was reported in Mexico, where Hilary made an earlier landfall. While no deaths were reported in California, the economic damage exceeded $600 million, mostly due to flooding and infrastructure damage. The state activated its National Guard, and Governor Gavin Newsom declared a state of emergency for multiple counties. Interesting facts. Tropical systems like Hilary are extremely rare in California because the cold Pacific waters usually weaken storms before they reach land. Hilary's landfall coincided with a magnitude 5.1 earthquake near Ojai, creating the viral term hurryquake online. Weather models underestimated the storm's inland reach, prompting calls for better forecasting systems in the West. Tropical Storm Hilary was a wake-up call. Climate change is shifting storm patterns, and areas once considered safe are now vulnerable to extreme weather. We've just witnessed 5 phases of extreme weather. Events that shocked, destroyed, and reminded us that the climate is changing. Each storm left its mark and a message. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, leave a comment, And most importantly, subscribe to Thunderstorm Power. Your support helps me bring more breathtaking weather footage to your screen. See you next time, when the next storm strikes.